Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi dan salam sejahtera buat kita semua yang hadir di sini. Selamat ya datang di acara bisnis update SOHO Global Medika di Hotel All Season tanggal 12 Februari 2014. Pada kesempatan ini, perkenalkan nama saya Sylvia. Saya mewakili SOHO Global Medika. Pada kesempatan yang baik hari ini, kami mengundang para Bapak Ibu rekan-rekan media untuk hadir di sini dalam acara yang sangat penting sekali bagi kami di SOHO Global Medika. Pada kesempatan yang bahagia ini, saya ingin perkenalkan tim dari SOHO. Yang pertama adalah Bapak Obed Pukriang. Beliau adalah Vice President dari SOHO Global Medika. First, I would like to thank you for coming, Pak Obed. And then second one is Rene Hall. He is a director from Delphie Bioscience, Netherlands. Welcome to Jakarta.
Thank you.
Pada kesempatan yang pagi ini, kami mengundang seluruh rekan media. Kenapa? Karena bila kita lihat kondisi saat ini di mana wanita seringkali merasa enggan datang ke klinik atau ke dokter untuk periksa cancer cervix dengan screening, maka pada hari yang bahagia ini kita akan menjelaskan secara terperinci produk apa sih yang akan di-launch oleh SOHO Global Medika. Perlu kami informasikan di sini Bapak Ibu bahwa SOHO Global Medika merupakan sebuah perusahaan anak perusahaan dari SOHO Global Health yang bergerak khusus di bidang alat kesehatan, Bapak Ibu. Dan Bapak Ibu sekalian mungkin sudah pernah dengar mengenai beberapa produk kami, produk unggulan kami seperti ada Budres, Plus, MPS2 dan lain sebagainya. Dan pada kesempatan ini kami akan memperkenalkan produk baru kami yang lain yang sangat membantu bagi kesehatan wanita Indonesia. Baik, pada kesempatan yang berbahagia ini kami akan persilakan Bapak Obed Pukriang untuk menjelaskan lebih jauh mengenai produk dan opportunity. Silakan.
Selamat pagi rekan-rekan jurnalis dan para sahabat yang meluangkan waktu pagi hari ini. Apa kabar?
Baik.
Ya, saya lihat semuanya segar-segar semua nih ya. Tidak terpengaruh dengan lalu lintas di depan yang agak-agak macet itu ya. Ya. Ya, puji syukur juga bahwa pagi hari ini tidak hujan. Ya, nggak hujan nih ya, karena tiap-tiap hari kan hujannya terus, hari ini nggak hujan nih ya. Senang sekali ketemu dengan Bapak dan Ibu kembali. Ya, beberapa teman-teman saya sudah familiar, ya beberapa wajah baru. Ya. Yang penting adalah nambah teman boleh lah, ya. Ya, nambah musuh jangan gitu. Ya, yang penting begitulah filosofinya. Ya. Tadi dikatakan oleh Ibu Sylvia bahwa kita ingin memperkenalkan sebuah produk begitu ya. Sebenarnya dalam tanda petik saya lawak sedikit ya. Kita sebetulnya ingin memperkenalkan satu bentuk kepedulian baru ya, satu bentuk kepedulian baru dari SOHO Global Medika ya, yang unit bisnis daripada SOHO Global Health seperti Bapak Ibu ketahui. Yang mana sekarang ini kepedulian kita nih tetap nih ya, tetap kepada dunia kesehatan ya. Yang ini adalah kepada para wanita Indonesia sekarang ini. Ya, seperti Bapak Ibu ketahui, salah satu headline ya kalau kita ketik di Google, iseng-iseng aja lah ketik di Google. Misalkan ketik adalah pembunuh wanita nomor 1 di Indonesia, ketik. Ya muncul langsung begitu kuatnya itu tagline itu. Ya. Sorry, I'm talking in bahasa Indonesia. Yeah, is it okay for you?
Very good.
Okay. Kepedulian kita adalah sekarang kepada mengenai wanita dan untuk apa kepeduliannya untuk kanker ya, untuk kanker ya, itu adalah kanker serviks ya. Kalau dulu ya 2 tahun yang lalu, 3 tahun yang lalu saya memiliki program kepedulian kepada dokter ya, waktu saya handle bisnis pharmaceutical ya, itu adalah bentuk kepedulian apa dulu pada dokter. Dulu kita punya caring program kepada dokter, itu kita memberikan pelatihan keuangan. Ya, nah sekarang kita peduli kepada nggak hanya dokter sekarang nih, pedulinya sekarang kepada target pasien, ya kepada para wanita, begitu. Ya, kalau kita tanyakan ya kanker serviks ya, kepada para wanita Indonesia, ya pada umumnya tahu, ya kan? Kalau tanyakan pada kanker payudara, lebih tahu lagi. Deteksi dini kanker payudara, ngerti, tangan diangkat dan sebagainya, perabaan dan sebagainya udah tahu. Tapi deteksi dini kanker serviks, ada yang tahu, ada yang nggak tahu. Ya, ada banyak yang sudah tahu, ada banyak juga yang belum tahu. Ya, rata-rata kalau sudah ngomong tahu, tahunya hanya satu deteksi dininya, hanya dengan cara pap smear, ya dengan cara pap smear. Ya, padahal dalam slide ini ada pap smear ya, yang dipaparkan oleh Dr. Josh Papilkau, namanya agak susah tuh orang Yunani ya. Itu dari data ditemukan diintroduce pertama kali, diperkenalkan pertama kali teknik pap smear itu tahun 1941. Ya, jadi kalau sampai dengan hari ini itu sudah lebih daripada berapa tahun berarti ini? Ya, 40 tahun ya, ya lebih ya. Ya, dikenalkan pertama kali aja 41 ya. Jadi sudah begitu lamanya teknik pap smear itu. Ya. Dan kalau kita tanya kepada para wanita, ya pap smear nyaman nggak sih, enak nggak sih gitu ya? Ya, saya punya 2 wanita di rumah. Ya, satu wanita istri saya, satu wanita anak saya nih. Kalau saya tanyakan pada istri saya pap smear, ya dorong dia untuk pap smear itu benar-benar aduh. Ya, keributan-keributan kecil bisa muncul gitu ya. Ya. Karena kenapa? Ya, dia selalu kalau wanita diminta pap smear jawabannya adalah memang enak itu. 3 tahun sudah nggak balik lagi ke objek, harus lepas celana lagi, buka celana lagi ya. Ya, terus istilahnya kalau apa ya? Kalau pap smear itu kan harus duduk kemudian buka kan, ya. Kemudian setelah buka pun itu dimasukkan spekulum yang nggak enak. Biasanya bahannya logam dingin, ya, berasa dingin dan nggak nyaman, ya. Dan itu benar-benar, ya, benar-benar nggak ini sama sekali lah pada wanita, ya. Angka kejadiannya cukup tinggi, ya, dan deteksinya tidak nyaman, deteksinya kurang oke bagi para wanita. Ya, kita melihat itu, kemudian saya berangkat juga dari desakan pada istri begitu susah, ya. Apalagi ini kalau kita ngomong teman-teman Bapak Ibu ya, kalau kita ngomong bahwa bagaimana kepada para wanita yang akses terhadap berita kesehatannya rendah, lebih susah lagi tuh nyuruh pap smear itu, ya. Jadi akibatnya apa? Maka angka kejadian kanker serviks itu begitu tinggi di Indonesia. Ya, bahkan data terakhir itu sebutkan dari Delphie bahwa pembunuh wanita nomor 1 di Indonesia itu sekarang kanker serviks. Data juga menunjukkan setiap 1 jam itu 1 wanita Indonesia meninggal karena kanker serviks. Ya, jadi sangat memprihatinkan ya angka-angka ini. Kita ngomong-ngomong di sini 1 jam itu 1 wanita itu. Ya, kita tidur sepanjang hari 24 jam itu berarti ada 24 wanita Indonesia meninggal. Ya, dalam sehari. Itu angka yang sangat besar. Ya, angka sangat besar. Dan rata-rata dari para wanita yang meninggal ini, rata-rata mereka tidak tahu, ya, bahwa mereka menderita kanker serviks sebelumnya. Jadi tahunya itu waktu periksa ke dokter sudah telat, stadiumnya sudah stadium 3, begitu sudah telat, ya. Nah, oleh karena itu kita sekarang ingin memperkenalkan bentuk kepedulian kita, ya, bahwa kita ingin mengajak para wanita Indonesia, ya, itu untuk mau, ya. Saya ngomong sambil berdiri boleh nggak? Boleh ya. Saya ini kurang nyaman nih kalau duduk nih ya. Ya, berontak kakinya ya. Ya, kakinya berontak, pengen aja berdiri gitu ya. Begitu berdiri saya lebih lebih comfortable ya. Jadi sekarang kita ingin mengajak pada para wanita Indonesia itu untuk mau melakukan deteksi dini. Ya, itu kampanye nasional kita nanti. Ya, kampanye nasional kita adalah itu. Jadi kita akan banyak pasang poster, kita banyak memberikan edukasi baik kepada publik ataupun juga kita akan, kalau kepada medis, kepada dokternya, kita akan memperkenalkan ya teknologi baru, ya teknologi baru yang jauh lebih nyaman, jauh lebih comfortable, ya jauh lebih aman. Terus kemudian juga bagi para wanita juga jauh lebih privacy, ya karena sebetulnya teknologi ini juga bisa dilakukan di rumah, gitu. Dan bisa mendatangkan kemesraan, ya kan? Kalau istrinya minta tolong pada suami kan, ya mendatangkan kemesraan kan, gitu. Jadi privasinya terjaga juga, ya. Nah, produk ini nanti akan detailnya akan dikenalkan oleh Rini, ya Rini. Ya, Rini baru beberapa hari ini ada di Jakarta, ya. Tapi dia belajar bahasa Indonesia sangat cepat ini, ya. Jadi sudah bisa ngomong beberapa bahasa Indonesia, ya. Betul ya, Rini.
Sorry, with
Oh, sorry Mas ya, belum berarti. I said that you can speak Indonesian language. Yeah, even just only 2 days, 3 days in Indonesia.
Don't promise.
Yeah.
Don't promise.
Jadi kita semangat sekali sekarang ya. Saya selalu menjadi lebih semangat ya kalau kita tuh bisa memberikan nilai lebih kepada para pelanggan kita. Pelanggan kita tidak hanya dokter, tapi juga pelanggan kita itu adalah direct customer, ya, para wanita Indonesia, para pasien. Nah, kalau kita bisa memberikan nilai lebih itu, ya kerjaan tuh menjadi semangat lah gitu. Ya, jadi tidak hanya sekedar bisnis ya, tapi harus bisa memberikan value, ya, added value bagi kesehatan. Ya, itu yang terpenting. Ya, jadi ya. Karena Bapak Ibu datang semua di sini ya, saya baca dari rundown di sini ya. Ini kerjaannya Bu Sylvia nanti ya, tapi di belakang juga akan diberikan door prize ya Mbak Fitri ya. Ya, diberikan door prize untuk unitnya itu. Ya, terpaksa harus diberikan door prize ya kan? Ya, karena kenapa? Karena menjangkau banyak teman-teman jurnalis yang lain. Ya, stoknya masih terbatas Mas Yan. Ya, jadi Bapak Ibu, saya undang Bapak Ibu sekalian ya, untuk rame-rame kita memperkenalkan sesuatu teknik baru ya, bentuk kepedulian pada wanita Indonesia ya, untuk mau melakukan deteksi dini. Ya, inti pertama mau melakukan deteksi dini dulu dah. Kalau misalkan nggak bisa pakai punya kita pun mau deteksi dini dengan pap smear nggak ada masalah. Ya kan, pokoknya mau melakukan deteksi dini itu dulu. Ujungnya itu dulu ya. Jadi kampanye nasionalnya itu dulu. Gitu, mau melakukan deteksi dini ya. Nah, kita perkenalkan kalau mau ada yang lebih privacy, lebih nyaman, lebih comfortable, lebih enak dan sebagainya, ya silakan, ada pilihan sekarang. Ya, teknologi ini teknologi yang sekarang bisa dibilang yang terdepan, ya, karena yang di screening adalah dicari adalah virusnya, ya. Penyebab kanker serviks itu adalah HPV, Human Papilloma Virus, ya. Ada tipenya tipe 16 dan 18. Nah, alat ini mendeteksi di dalam serviks itu ada nggak virus ini, HPV virus tipe 16-18 ini ada nggak? Kalau ada, itu bisa dikatakan positif. Kalau positif, harus dilakukan tindakan lebih lanjut. Ya, kalau itu ketahuan dari awal, maka satu-satunya kanker yang angka penyembuhannya 100% kanker serviks sebetulnya. Ya, jadi kalau ketahuan di awal ya, tapi kalau ketahuannya udah stadium 3, wah, ceritanya lain ya. Ya, sama dengan kanker yang lain. Ya, lebih sulit sembuhkan dan mortalitinya tinggi. Ya, angka kematiannya tinggi. Tapi kalau deteksi dininya dari diketahui di awal, ya baru derajat 1 misalkan, ya derajat 1, 1,5 menginjak 2 masih angka penyembuhannya tinggi sekali. Ya. Dan satu hal yang paling penting dari kanker serviks, masa tumbuhnya begitu lama. Ya, makanya ini seperti ya silent killer gitu. Ya, pembunuh yang berjalan dengan diam-diam karena masanya lama, 10-15 tahun ya, jadi orang nggak berasa, wanita tuh nggak berasa, pelan, nggak ketahuan juga ya, karena merasa oke semua, nggak ketahuan, nggak periksa, nggak deteksi dini, tiba-tiba derajat 3 ya, itu yang kejadian ini ya. Jadi lebih lanjut nanti Rini akan jelaskan ya mengenai teknologi terbaru ini seperti apa ya, manfaatnya seperti apa, kemudian kita juga sudah melakukan kerjasama ya dengan laboratorium ya, kita didukung penuh oleh Pramita dengan cabang-cabangnya ya. Jadi untuk mengetahui ada virusnya ini itu butuh alat khusus ya, nanti ini ceritakan ya. Nah, ini adanya di Pramita ya, adanya di Pramita mesinnya ya, seperti itu ya. Baik, itu yang saya bisa sampaikan kepada Bapak Ibu sekalian ya.
Penjelasannya bahwa bentuk kepedulian PT SOHO Global Medika begitu dapat diwujudkan dalam teknologi baru. The next session would be Rene Hall, please.
Thank you. My name is Rene Hall. I am from the Netherlands, and I am one of the co-founders of a company, Delphie Bioscience, in 2006. And that's the company from the product which we will present to you today. And today I'm the board director from a subsidiary of our company in Singapore for the Asian market, Delphie Bioscience Asia. Today it's about a female disease. We talk about cervical cancer, and I'm very committed to that too, because I'm a married man, of course, and on the other hand I have 3 daughters, so I have a lot to do with female questions in my family, I can tell you. I'd like to thank SOHO Group for the invitation to may present here. And I'd like to thank you for your interest in our product, in our speech, etc. And it's a real honor to make talk here in Indonesia, because the dynamics and the spirit of innovation and progress in your country is unbelievable. So I'm very happy to may introduce this fantastic new thing in your country. So I have a few slides to introduce you to the topic. We talk about a product, a medical device, and the name of the device is Delphie Screener. So, and the field we talk about today is cervical cancer and the protection for cervical cancer. This is a real big problem, this disease. And this is the global numbers from the World Health Organization. So you see that approximately 500,000 women every year suffer from the disease, and about more than half of them dies of the disease. This is terrible numbers, and of course, if you look to the numbers, if you look to the numbers in Indonesia, they are also very shocking. There's a lot to win to combat this disease, and the impact of the disease is extreme. This is a shocking photo, because the peak of cervical cancer amongst women is between 35 and 45. So most of the women who die of the disease are women who might have young family, they might have children and a family. So the impact is extremely high of this disease. We did many research in the world to show women different pictures, how we can make our message clear. This was one of them. We had many others. This was the most cruel one, I would say. And we did that for internet panels, and also in Asia we did that. And this was the favorite of the woman. They said, this is the picture which makes most clear where we talk about. Let me introduce you first to the disease. Some of you may already know it, but this is the disease. Cervical cancer is the only cancer in the world we know exactly where it comes from and how it develops. It's the only cancer in the world we know. It's the cancer of the cervix. The cervix, deep in the women's vagina. And what happened, the disease is caused by an infection with the high-risk human papilloma virus. And human papilloma virus is a very common virus. You must see it like influenza, for example. Many women, so in the world, about 80% of all men and women once in their life got an infection with human papilloma virus. It is a sexually transmitted infection, and so it goes from men to women via sexual intercourse. And but most of the bodies, women body, but also men body, men do not suffer from the infection, by the way, but women do. But most of the women, the infection clears spontaneously within 3 to 6 months. The body, the immune system of the body disappears the virus. Indeed, yeah. So there's a small group of women who do not get rid of the infection, and that's what we call a persistent infection. And what happens with a persistent high-risk human papilloma infection is that the virus affects the cervix, and that leads to abnormalities on the cervix. And in the science literature, the abnormalities are classified in 3 stages called CIN1, 2 and 3. These are all pre-cancers, so no cancer, but pre-cancer. But if we do nothing with these 3 stages, it can develop into cancer. And the cancer is a very diable disease. It's a very dangerous disease, cervical cancer. And it develops very slowly. So the whole process from an HPV infection in a healthy cervix until cancer takes 15 to 20 years. So we have much time to detect these pre-stages, because these pre-stages can be very well treated by the gynecologist to avoid that the woman will get cancer. So if we can detect these pre-stages of cancer for all women, then we can reduce the disease with 100%. So cervical cancer is the only cancer in the world we have the instruments today to combat it 100%, that it disappears completely. That is, the theory is possible. So how can we do that? Now, first theory, that is this slide. what we need to reduce the cancer is two things. One thing is we should convince all women in the world to go regularly for a test to check if they have a pre-stage of cancer. That's what we call screening. So on this X here, the X-axis here, you see participation. So what we want to try to achieve is that 100% of the women go frequently for screening to a doctor, for example. And the second thing, so one is to have all women to screening. The second thing is that we need a test which detects every woman at risk. So we need a test which is optimal, and we call that sensitivity. So that when a woman is at risk, that the test is also giving a result, say you are at risk, 100% sensitivity. That's what we need. And if we have 100% participation and we have a test which is 100% reliable, we can reduce the cancer with 100%. So let's see what the practice is. This is the theory. Now we come to the practice. What have we done? What do we do to avoid cervical cancer? We have the PAP test, the current PAP test. And the PAP test exists of two stages. Stage one is the sample taking, the sampling procedure. And most of you will know it. That's by what they call the pap smear. So the pap smear is the woman goes to the doctor, sitting in a gynecology chair, and the doctor brings in a speculum, and after opening the vagina, he can see the cervix, and he has a spatel, and with the spatel, he can scrape cells from the cervix, and that cells are put on a glass, which can be sent to the laboratory for testing. So this is number one of the pap smear, the current procedure. So number two of the procedure is the testing. So the sample goes to the laboratory for testing. And that's a method which has been developed by a Greek doctor in America. The name of the doctor is Dr. Papanicolaou. That's the reason why we call it the PAP test. It's because of his name, Dr. Papanicolaou. And what the test said is if you put the women's specimen under the microscope and you look at the cells, you can see in the microscope if there are abnormalities in the cells. And that are these cancer pre-stages which you can detect in the microscope. And as you see is the method of Dr. Papanicolaou is from 1941. That is published. So that's in the period of the Second World War. Because the war was from Greece to the United States. So he developed it in 1941. So we're talking here about a method which is over 70 years old. So that's the reason why doctors are so familiar with it, because you knew it already for 70 years, the same thing. So what is the performance of these methods and what are the bottlenecks? You can see, I want to show you in this picture again, the same picture which I had before of the theory. This is the real situation in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, we have a cervical cancer program by the government. That means that every woman in Holland, every 5 years, got a letter at home, say you may go to the doctor for the pap smear, and the pap smear is free. Yeah, but now you see what happens in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, although you got a reminder and you got a free pap test, in the Netherlands only 2/3 of the women go for screening. So 1/3 of the women do not go for screening. The second problem is that the test is not optimal, because the test, looking under the microscope to the cells, and what I showed you in the previous picture, that we call cytology, that's the way that's how we call it to read the cells under the microscope. The cytology has in the Netherlands a sensitivity of just 70%. So if 100 women in Holland go to the doctor and they all have pre-stages of cancer, only 70 are detected. 30 women are sent home and you are healthy. They miss that. So the effect in Holland is that we only find 50% of the cancers we really find with our program. So we have a very good program, we think, but we find only 50% because of two reasons. 1/3 doesn't come, and we don't have an optimal test. And in every country in the world you can make such a picture. You also can make such a picture from Indonesia. And the data will be a little bit different, but you will see similar things in a country like Indonesia. Yeah. So that was the spirit for us to think about how can we make this better. And The first thing was to think about this participation. How can we make sure that more women go for screening? And to know that, you must understand, why do women don't go for screening? And we think there are many barriers. And you saw the pictures of the pap smear before. And there are many barriers. And this is just a list of some of them. There might be cultural reasons, religious reasons, don't go for screening, the fear of pain, the shame, you all will recognize them. Also, many women are not aware about the importance of screening. And also, today, very often you see that women don't have time. They have a busy job, for example, and they don't have time to go for screening. So that was the inspiration for a Dutch doctor, a Dutch gynecologist, Dr. Maarten Biekering, to think about how can I make a new device to make the sampling of the specimen easier and more acceptable by women. And that is Dr. Maarten Biekering. He had a vision. This is a picture. He arrives tomorrow, so he joins us the next couple of days here in Indonesia. So he arrives tomorrow. Dr. Maarten Biekering, a gynecologist from the Netherlands, and he had a vision. And he wanted to create a method which no longer needs a doctor directly. So that's why he develops a cell sample. So he made a list of requirements, and he said, I have some requirements like easy, painless, reliable, you recognize them, and what are the consequences? And what he did is he made a device which needs no longer a speculum, because we think a speculum is a big barrier for many women to go to screening. No speculum, and very important is no longer scraping. No longer scraping what we see with the pap test. And so he made a device for that, and the idea was to make a device with a round top, with a cylinder shape. And the idea is no longer scraping, but washing with water. I will show you on that. And made in such a way that the women herself can go easily to the cervix to take a reliable sample. And the last breakthrough he did is, he said, we should use another test. So we will no longer use the test under the microscope, which I show you in the picture, but we will use a modern test on the virus, the HPV virus, and that's a DNA test. Yeah? And this is the result. This is the Delphie screener. It's called the Delphie screener, the final product, which is a CE class 1 sterilized qualified product. And here you see a picture from the manufacturing of the product in the clean room, because it's a sterile product. And this is the device. I was wondering, Sylvia, can you maybe help me with the microphone here? I will just show you my microphone. So this is the Delphie screener. This is a product which is for self-sampling, which women can use themselves and to bring into the vagina. And the device is filled with 3 milliliters of a water solution. Yeah, so 3 milliliters. This one is empty, so I just will fill it in my glass of water.
Ini adalah contoh, Bapak Ibu, seharusnya dalam kemasan ini.
So now there is the fluid. You see on the top, the round top, there are 4 small holes of 4 small holes. That's the right number. We show you a video how it works in the body. But what happens is that the woman brings this self into her vagina, laying on the bed, and she pushes the button. You see this effect. See? So you see the washing. The fluid washes the cervix and mix there with the cells. Mix with the cells, and then after 3 seconds, she releases the button, and it comes automatically back, and then here you have the specimen you want. And so once again, I will show you once again how it works. It's a washing of the cells, so no scraping, so no speculum needed, and no scraping. So just simple washing the cervix and suck it back into the device. And in the packaging, this is the packaging our partner SOHO is using in, our partner SOHO is using. You see here the packaging which women get, and you see here in one of the compartments, you see this is how the Delphie screener comes out of the manufacturing. See? So this is sterile packaging. So you see here you can see the product here, and you see on the back side, you see here the label, which is a CE marked product. So it's a very high quality, reliable a reliable product. So the woman takes it out of this pouch. She takes it out of that, and after taking the sample, in her package, there is a tube, vial. See, here's the tube. So she can, what I did in the glass, she can do here in the vial, and then you have here the specimen, and that should be sent to the laboratory. So simple is it. And either she brings it directly to the laboratory, or she brings it to the doctor, or there are different ways to do that. But that's the way how it works. And this specimen, that's a very high reliable specimen. Very reliable. And the laboratory use then a new test, and that's a DNA test. So not under the microscope, which is not so good as I told you, but they use an automatic test on the DNA, which is much more reliable. And I will show you the performance of the test later.
Kemudian, ini adalah tombol putih untuk menekan cairan, dan bagian putih panjang ini adalah bagian yang akan masuk ke dalam vagina. Dengan 4 lubang di bawah, tempat keluarnya larutan NaCl steril.
Should I turn off the light?
Dengan posisi duduk kembali, semua wanita dapat melakukannya sendiri. Masukkan ke dalam vagina. Di sini dilihat sangat detail sekali gambarannya bahwa yang dimasukkan adalah persis di dalam vagina dengan posisi tegak lurus. Saat menyentuh serviks, artinya sudah mentok, itulah saatnya untuk menekan tombol putih. Begitu tombol putih dilepaskan, otomatis dia akan membilas seluruh suasana yang ada pada area lahir. Itulah yang diambil sebagai sampel untuk pemeriksaan ke lab seperti itu. Nah, ini gambarannya saat pembukaan packaging. Cara pegang yang benar seperti di atas. Ini tampak dari depan ya, Bapak Ibu. Jadi yang masuk hanya bagian putihnya saja. Tiap wanita itu memiliki panjang vagina berbeda. Tentunya wanita Asia sama Eropa itu berbeda. Artinya nggak mesti harus masuk seutuhnya yang putih ini, nggak mesti. Biasanya sih tergantung. Ada yang cuma 3/4. Nah ini ya, jadi setelah selesai, sampel dikumpulkan di dalam pot yang sudah disediakan dalam paket Delphie screener. Inilah pot yang dibawa ke lab.
So, there's a few slides remaining and not take much of your time. Is it clear? Do you have questions or about how it works? So do you want, can people ask questions how it works?
Yes, continue.
Yeah? Okay, so what is the effect of this? So what we see is that this is from studies in the Netherlands. So what we see is that more than 50% of the women who do not go for screening likes to use the self-sampling. So you get a much better group, a much higher percentage of coverage of your screening. And the second innovation, which I said, we use another test. We use the human papillomavirus DNA test, which is a much more reliable test than the pap test. That has a reliability over 90%. And the effect is, of course, what you see is that with a higher participation and with a higher test, that the performance of the screening goes up to almost 80%. So you have a huge increase of the detection of cervical cancer. The device is uniquely designed, as I said already to you, because of we did it with a large group of women and by very professional design companies. We designed this unique product. And as you see, we went there also some awards with this product. One of the awards is the Dutch Award for Excellence on the Ergonomics. So the ease of use by the woman of this product is very high. That's the 2011 award. And we win also for outstanding industrial design the award, the IF award from Germany in 2012. The women like it. We did acceptance studies with women. This is on a scale from 1 to 10. And we asked women about their perception, how they experience the method. So you see that the pap smear got a 5.2 just, and the new method with the Delphie screening got a 9.3. So there's a huge acceptance and preference for women for this. That's the reason why we believe, together with the SOHO group, that this invention will bring much more women, encourage much more women in Indonesia to go for screening. And this is a very proven method. This is not just an idea and we found out and just try to sell it now. This is we tested over 5, 6, 7 years now already. So what we said, it's the most comprehensively validated alternative for pap smear screening. This is absolutely the best alternative in the world now for pap smear screening. We have a prominent partnership with the VU University in Amsterdam. If you go to the internet and you look for cervical cancer, HPV, and the university in Amsterdam, you will see it's the leading institute in the world with research, and one of the leading doctors will also come tomorrow to Indonesia to present the knowledge from the VU University in Amsterdam. So clinical trials with many leading institutes like Columbia University in New York and the KK's Children and Women's Hospital in Singapore, among others. And we have many pilot implementations already in the best screening programs in the world. I showed you the Netherlands, but also in Finland, in Italy, in the United Kingdom, we have implementations ongoing. And many publications, so you can get an overview of that in Cosmos if you like that. And they are published in really leading magazines like the British Medical Journal. Within a few weeks we have a publication in the Lancet Oncology, which has been accepted, Journal of Clinical Microbiology, so many others. So important is, this is my single last one, only 2 slides left, is that what the SOHO group does here in Indonesia is important. It's not just a device we bring to the women, it's what we call a total solution. And what we mean with that is, it's a device, it is the packaging. I showed you that there was developed a special packaging for the women to make it convenient. We use the best tests in the world, so that are the validated test assays which are used in the laboratory. And partners like SOHO set up a complete distribution network around it, together with the local laboratory services. And I think the partnership with Promita, you mentioned already, Obed, in your introduction. So it's a total solution that a woman who wants to have this product, that she can get it, and that she can bring her sample somewhere, and that she get a reliable test, etc. And the last slide I have is more for your information that we really have important partners where we develop this with. So our distributors, the last one here, they are of course key, like the SOHO group, and we have distributors in many countries. Like in Asia, we have now the product present in Thailand, Malaysia, and in Singapore. So Indonesia is now the 4th country here in Asia where the product is available. And you see it's manufactured in the Netherlands at a company called Health Food in the Netherlands. I saw it in the clean room. We do the repackaging for Asia with the Techmark group in Singapore. I say we work with the professional design studios, with the best researchers in the world, and the test assays also come from the Netherlands, from a company called Screen. So I hope I can show you that the uniqueness of this invention and what it might bring for the Indonesian woman to get less disease in this beautiful country. Thank you so much.
Ngobrol?
Talking. Oh yeah, what should we talk about?
Yeah.
About the Delphie screener. I hope to make a big success out of that. And that is this great partnership and a fantastic product.
Okay. And please remember the clue from Sylvia. You have to take a photo.
Yeah.